energy drink this morning? Okay, better question. How many of you did not drink anything this morning? That's pretty high. I didn't expect that. So, according to the FDA, that 90% of people on Earth use caffeine, and 80%, particularly in America, on Earth use caffeine every day. So why is that? Why is it that that those drinks are so appealing? What is in those drinks? As you might guess, it's caffeine. So it turns out caffeine has various effects on humans, and therefore should be used caffeine. I myself enjoy drinking coffee, energy drinks, and soda as well. Also, that I love science, and in my biology class we talk about caffeine, so I know a little bit about it. And I see that in our class some of you use caffeine also, so I think it might be a good idea to talk about it. So today I'm going to talk about how popular caffeine is, its positive as well as negative effects, and how to use it properly, how to determine the safe amount in yourself. So what exactly is caffeine? In my biology class, we define caffeine as psychoactive drug, a stimulant, which means that it increases your brain activity when you consume it. I mean, it's the same kind as cocaine, heroin, or meth. It might sound bad, but the way that it acts is completely different, and it doesn't have all the negative effects as well. So there are many different types of food that contains caffeine. Caffeine does a pretty good job of coffee, and then coffee is the most popular drink on Earth also. Other types may include tea, energy drink, even chocolate can contain caffeine as well. Sorry. So according to the Mayo Clinic, the caffeine content in those types of foods varies a lot. Just like Caitlin said, there are a lot of different types of coffee. As you can see right here, the caffeine content of coffee can range anywhere from 95 to 200. Tea, a little bit less. A Red Bull, one can contain about 80 milligrams. Even Coca-Cola and Mountain Dew can contain caffeine as well. So is there any positive effects of caffeine? Why is it so popular? According to my research, this has some positive effects. First, I think it's the most common reason is increased alertness. Of course, that's the main reason we drink it. Once we're tired or maybe didn't have enough sleep the other day, then caffeine, a cup of coffee or energy drink would definitely help. Next is it can actually increase physical performance in athletes to the point where the International Olympic Committee once prohibited athletes from using caffeine. Up until 2004, they allowed it because it has become too common to regulate. I think it's last and most important for us is that caffeine actually increase concentration as well as mental activities. There was a study done at the Warwick University at Melbourne, Australia, and they found out they divided the participants into 4 groups, as you can see right here. First group received a placebo, which is basically nothing. The next 2 groups received glucose, and the last group received a mixture of caffeine and glucose. As you can see in the graph right here, the group that used caffeine outperforms other group by about double. So they concluded that caffeine and glucose has significantly better at total multitasking as well, faster arithmetic tasks. Definitely, before you're doing your homework, a cup of coffee can definitely help. So how does coffee work though? Let's assume this is our brain. I mean, it's not flat like that, but just assume so. So in my biology class, we learned about adenosine, which is that our body will naturally produce it as we awake. So its concentration will increases, and at the end of the day, you feel sleepy. So once we introduce caffeine into our system, then caffeine will block the effects of adenosine, which means that you will not feel tired. And then caffeine can actually increase your heart rate and your blood pressure as well, making you feel more alert. However, aside from those all negatives, positive effects of caffeine, it can actually have some negative effects as well. The first one is withdrawal symptoms. Say in one day that you just don't feel like drinking anything, if you just stop drinking, then you have some withdrawal symptoms. I personally have a lot of friends who has this. They say that they can't even start their day without drinking coffee. They just feel so tired and don't want to do anything. Also, that some of my friends even have a headache, and then some symptoms of depression, which is really not good. However, these symptoms are fairly mild, and caffeine is not considered as a drug because it doesn't threaten your physical and social as well as economic health like other addictive drugs do. Although that after seeing my monthly bill last year for the coffee shops, I disagree with that. Next, too much caffeine can actually cause nervousness, anxiety, as well as some heart problems. I remember I had this once. Once I drink a really dark type of coffee. I don't know what it's called. And then the first I was okay, I feel like, oh, this is good. I may have actually have tried again. But then after that, I just like feel like a headache, and then I feel a little tightness across my chest, and then I cannot even concentrate on anything, and it lasted for 4 hours. So it wasn't fun. Lastly, because that caffeine blocks adenosine, then it can actually disrupt your sleep if you drink it too close to your sleep. So the half-life of caffeine is about 5 to 7 hours, which means that, say you drink a cup of coffee, about 200 milligrams of caffeine in the morning at 8, then at 2 o'clock you have about 100 milligrams left, and at 8 o'clock in the evening, about 50 left. Sorry. So with all those various effects of caffeine, the positives and the negatives, there are some ways that we can actually take advantage of the positive ones and negate the negative ones. The first one is that I believe that knowing what you take into your body is really important. So read the labels. For example, on energy drink, and then such as Red Bull, Monster, Rockstar, they usually have like the caffeine content in this can is say about 160 or 80 milligrams. Also, to get to know some of the caffeine content of some popular ones such as coffee, tea. And by knowing your intake, you can actually know the limits of your body, know the amount that you are comfortable with. Generally, around 400 milligrams of caffeine is considered safe for most of us, but people vary, so just get to know what your limits are. So lastly is the time that you drink caffeine. So I would suggest that drinking a cup of coffee or energy drink in the morning or in the afternoon is really good. However, after 3 o'clock, you shouldn't try any of these, or maybe drink very little because it can disrupt your sleep. So to sum up, caffeine has various effects as well as, so we should use it carefully. I'll show you how popular caffeine is, the negatives, as well as positive effects of caffeine, and how to actually determine the safe amount of yourself. I hope that you guys will can enjoy your drinks and food knowing that they're actually good for you. Thank you for listening.